Ladies and gentlemen, in this Red Gamer.com video, we're going to be doing a roundup of two pieces of graphics news. One focused on the Evil Within. Apparently, it's going to be locked at 30 frames per second, at least according to rumours. I'm also going to be discussing The Witcher, because there's good news on that front. So, we're going to be throwing them all into one video. Once again, I'd like to apologise for audio quality. Still haven't received the cable at the moment that I've ordered, which is starting to annoy me, so I might just end up going to town tomorrow and just picking one up and using the other one as a spare. Anyway, so Bethesda's The Evil Within is on negative attention at the moment with the internet because there are reports starting to pop up that the PC version will be locked at 30 frames per second, just like the console iterations. So, originally, the news comes from senior producer Jason Bergman, and he mentions on Twitter earlier in the year the game would run at 30 frames per second, but that post is now gone, and it was reading we're at 30, but that makes sense for a survival horror game. So now, fast forward to modern day, and there have been a series of movements on this. People on forums have been consistently asking, what is going on? Like, is it locked at 30 FPS? Is there a way of uncapping it? Pete Hines has been saying, well, we're working on getting some information for you guys. And then Seaboat, who of course is a very well-known industry leaker. Obviously some people are going to put stock in this, others not. But he says PC version is capped at 30 FPS. But not dev internally by TNGO. And on addition to that, obviously for months we've known the PC version is running, console versions are running at 30 FPS. And we've known this for quite some time. But since then, it appears that Bethesda and all of these guys are not giving more information. Basically all we're hearing is a lot of silence and radio static, and we'll give you the answer at some point. We do know that the title will be running at 4K. We do know that it's going to support better graphics options, of course, than console, but that's it. They're not giving information regarding the frame rate, which, to be totally honest with you, pisses me off. Because it's like, there's no reason for it not to run at 60, unless you've basically the only thing I can think of is that they created all of the assets, all of the animations and so on for 30 FPS, and that was their intention to begin with, and therefore it doesn't really look good because of the way they've designed the game at 60, which can be a little bit like how you'd say Dead Rising. Now, Dead Rising 3 on the PC, for the most part, did fairly well at 60. There were a couple of issues here and there, but overall the game's pacing was fairly well. There wasn't like problems with, say, the gravity falling over. So I'm hoping that's going to be the case. What would be ideal is if there would be a hack. What am I even saying? See, this is the thing. My standards are lowering so bloody much. What would be bloody sodding ideal is if the game just ran how it should do, as fast as you can possibly run it. Now, Bethesda, to begin with, being extremely cagey on the minimum specification side of things. And in fact, they basically said, well, here's the recommended specs, and if you decide to go below that, well, good luck to you, sir. And, you know, they just pretty much gave you a thumbs up, which takes the piss. What I personally think they should have done, if that was the attitude they wanted to go with, and that all they wanted to do was give the recommended specs, provide just a little short demo code, which would be the equivalent of like Street Fighter 4 on the PC. There's a demo version of it available, and by demo I mean it just basically plays a series of pre-recorded matches, and then it gives you a ranking for your system, and then you can make your decision to purchase the game based upon that. They should have done similar, and just make it available for through Steam or maybe their own website. Just call it, benchmark, and then done. That would be one way to do it. So I personally don't feel this is acceptable. And there's threads on NeoGAF, there's threads on the Steam forum, and as far as I'm understanding right now, there's not an answer. I know guys like Total Biscuit are also getting involved in this, and as far as I understand it, the guys are getting somewhat bombarded. So hopefully we get an answer to this. Because to be totally honest with you, there's no reason we should be getting 30 FPS in a PC port at all. If your system can't handle it, what about if you don't want to run VSync either? It just doesn't make sense. But before I start getting too ranty and angry over this, I do want to give you some good news. Yes, there is good news. I'm not going to give you the misery of terror of all of the time. I want to give you some happiness. Here's the happiness. After all the complaining about visual downgradings from Watch Dogs, after the complaints, even, for example, this video, it appears that CD Projekt Red are basically allaying fears that Witcher 3, despite the fact that the game looks astoundingly gorgeous, to be honest, it looks really impressive, and I'm not someone that usually gets taken in by graphics very, very easily. Normally I see things look good, but this looks bloody good. I mean, a couple of the photos and images and videos that I've seen, just for a second, I did think it was, a couple of years ago you'd swear that was pre-rendered. But anyway, I'm off topic. It's appearing like this is not going to be visually downgraded. In other words, one of the community managers, his name is Marcin Momot, hopefully I pronounced that correctly. He said, please keep in mind that the game is still in production phase. Certain things are still being worked on. The final version of the game will look better than what's seen in the latest screenshots, no matter what the platform. As you probably know, the publishing screenshots, some of them could be subjectively less appealing than others. That's depending on one's opinion. That's perfectly normal. The most important thing going on here is the game will look gorgeous when we are done working with it. There will be no visual downgrades. So in case you're wondering, this was actually targeting previous concerns, let's go with that, primarily these stem from NeoGAF, but I understand that they just ran rampant over the internet, as things tend to do, where people were examining various screenshots and so on, and there was an insider that was apparently vetted on NeoGAF but by an admin, but effectively the concern from the PR team was that the studio's PR team, in other words CD Projekt Red's PR team, was, and I quote, creating an overblown vision of the game that just doesn't exist. I'm hoping that this isn't the case, and if it's honestly true that we are going to be seeing a title that looks as gorgeous as what we are seeing. I mean, I've heard some of the versions are actually running on the Xbox One, which makes it really impressive to me. And by Xbox One, we're talking Xbox One retail hardware here, not development kits which have faster CPUs or God knows what. We're talking like proper retail machines. So hopefully, of course there are going to be some things that are a little bit ropey. That's just natural. But hopefully everything runs as well as what we're expecting it to, because if it does, I'm going to be really, really happy indeed, and I think many of you are, considering that this title, I mean, even the team themselves say that they love Elder Scrolls, but they are basically wanting to create a new Elder Scrolls. Basically, this title is going to be crushing Elder Scrolls, is pretty much what they're saying. Anyway, hopefully you've enjoyed the video. I'll see you soon. Take care, and bye for now.